Everyone, and welcome to NameHero.com. In this video tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to set up a WordPress multi-site network. Many of you may find this beneficial if you have separate administration teams or separate writing teams for subsections of your website. Those of you that are working for a school or university, you might find it necessary to give your individual students their own copy of WordPress so they can kind of learn the inner workings out of it. I know we actually have quite a few customers here at NameHero that do just that. They actually teach WordPress in their curriculum in their classrooms, and they actually set up subsites for their students so they all have their own copy of WordPress so they can learn how to use it. Since WordPress is the most popular content management system in the world, we're seeing more and more not only small businesses and individuals, but companies that are starting to leverage WordPress for their websites. And so it's an essential thing to learn for students nowadays. And WordPress Multisite allows you to really be able to use this for that purpose, but also sites, like I said, that need separate administration teams or need their own specific WordPress admin area. So today I'm going to set up an example on a domain called keydiets.com. So we're just going to pretend for a second that keydiets.com is a big diet website, and there's separate admin teams for different types of diets. So perhaps vegan diets, vegetarian diets, meat diets, and paleo diets. There's all kinds of different diets out there. So we're going to pretend we're setting up this site, and we want to enable WordPress Multisite to allow different administration access to different subsections of the site. So I'm going to show you how to set this up on subdomains. You have two options with WP Multisite. You can actually set it up on subdomains, or you can set it up in subfolders. And this is essentially what WordPress.com is, the hosted WordPress solution, is they are basically a tremendously big multi-site network that allow individuals and businesses to set up WordPress blogs on WordPress.com. So this is a smaller scale of that. And the good thing is WordPress is set up to do this all from the beginning, and it's very simple to do. But I'm going to walk you through step by step. On your screen right now is our high-speed WordPress cloud web hosting packages. If those of you are not customers with us, you can notice that we try to list an average amount of monthly visitors for each package. So that normally helps people decide what package they want. Since we are on the cloud, you can upgrade to any other package at any given time. So based on your traffic, I would say our Plus Cloud and our Turbo Cloud are the two most popular packages. Those are very limited budgets for developers. They like the starter just so they have a very low barrier to entry. Those that are getting more traffic, they know that they need to get the business cloud. But I would say that probably 95% of our customers, they choose either the Plus Cloud or the Turbo Cloud based on how much resources they need. So we list this for you about how many monthly visitors you can get, and then we show you the exact amount of resources you're going to get. So like CPU cores is the processing power and how much RAM. And of course, all of our packages come with free SSL certificates. So if you're setting up a WordPress multi-site network, this is very important because you need to have SSL for your websites. Google Chrome is soon going to be putting a warning on sites that do not have SSL, so it's very important that you do have these certificates, and you're not going to have to pay for them at NameHero. They come standard. We also have free RAID 10 SSD drives, a lot faster. We use Lightspeed, which is a lot faster than other web hosts out there, and we have our Lightspeed caching technology, and along with Cloudflare. So we have a lot of good stuff here at NameHero. And we pride ourselves in not only being a WordPress optimized host, but being a fast, secure, reliable, redundant WordPress web host. So unlike those other guys and gals out there, we're going to provide you with a streamlined solution for WordPress, and we make it affordable. Now, of course, if you're reaching more than 100,000 visitors a month, we can still accommodate you. That's why we have our VPS hosting. It's a little bit more expensive, but obviously if you're getting more than 100,000 visitors a month to your website, you're probably making enough money to where you can afford that little bit extra of a budget. The same is true for all of our resellers. If you want to resell web hosting, take a look at those packages because we offer these same core features to you as a reseller so you can actually resell these services and start your own WordPress hosting business. So with that out of the way, let's talk about setting up WordPress Multisite. So I'm going to head over to my client area where I already have a package set up. And so if you want to follow along if you're a current customer, just click Account Login and navigate to your hosting package. So the package I'm testing on today is our Plus Cloud. And if you remember, I said that's one of our most popular packages. It can handle up to 25,000 monthly unique visitors. And so this domain is set up as keydiets.com on the Plus Cloud. So that's what I'm going to be using. Now, before we get started, I'm going to start like I don't even have WordPress installed. When setting up a multi-site network, I really like to say start from the beginning before you develop your WordPress website. It's not a requirement. If you already have WordPress running, you can transform it into a multi-site network, but you also have to do a lot of configuring, and also that requires you to disable your plugins and stuff. So if you have a live site with WordPress already running, I probably would like set up a staging site or something to do this, just because you don't want to make live edits to your site, and setting up WordPress multi-site requires a lot of different changes to the file structure, including like changes to your htaccess file and your configuration file. So if you have a live site, you might want to set up a staging area, and there's tutorials on our YouTube channel here and on our blog on how to do that, so you don't have to make live site edits. So I don't recommend that. So today I'm going to start fresh by installing a brand new copy of WordPress and then going from there. So to get to our application installer, I want to go to cPanel. So under Actions, I'm going to click Login to cPanel. And this is our control panel, cPanel, the most popular web hosting control panel in the world. So it's likely if you've had web hosting ever, you're familiar with it or somewhat familiar with it. So we need to go down to our apps installer. It's going to be down here at the bottom. You're going to see WordPress. I'm going to click on it. And you can read about WordPress if you're not familiar already, but I'm going to go right to install now. And now I can get started with the setup. So I'm just going to use HTTP here for right now. I do have a secure certificate, but I'm going to just use HTTP for the purpose of this video. I want to install my main copy on keydiets.com, and I want to install it on the root domain, meaning when someone goes to keydiets.com, they're going to see my first WordPress copy. I don't want it in a subdirectory. So because of this, I want to make sure I delete this. So I'm going to remove WP. And now I can scroll down here and put some more information about my site. So we're just going to call it Key Diets. Whoops. Diets, and I can just leave this tagline the same. I can always change that later. And now if I want to, I can enable multi-site from the very beginning, from the auto installer. So I want to click that. Now you can hover over here and this will tell you about it. Your server must support Apache mod rewrite, which it does. So we're going to tick this option. Now, if you've installed WordPress manually, then you have to edit your configuration file to reflect this. It's also very easy, and I'll put it in my tutorial. Okay, so we're going to go on down here, and we need to set up our admin username and password. So I'm just going to call it Key Diet, let's just say 18, and then I want to assign a strong password. So I want to use the password generator by clicking this key here, and that's going to make sure I have a real secure password. And like I said, copy this stuff and put it over in a notepad document. That way you don't lose it, but you want to use strong credentials. This is the #1 first defense of protecting your website from becoming compromised. It really frustrates me when I see people use something like admin and password, because you're just asking to get your site compromised, and you don't want that to happen. So use strong credentials and note them in a notepad document. That way you can just copy and paste when you need to log into your site. Or if you have a password manager, even better. So I'm going to select my language, English, limit login, since I'm not going to mess with that right now. There is some advanced options here, such as the table prefixes and auto upgrades and stuff. For our purposes, I'm not going to worry about that stuff because I just want to show the multi-site option. So now you can select a theme if you want a custom theme. I'm just going to use the default WordPress stuff for now. But if you want to use a custom theme, you can look through here. These are free of charge. We're going to click Install Now. Okay, so now WordPress is installed. So if we go to Key Diets, we're going to see, let's give it a second, boom. Now WordPress is running, and you can see it's all good. So now we want to go into our admin area, WP admin. And you can see now this looks a little bit different than other WordPress installs, because over here to your left, you're going to have a My Sites, a Network Admin, Dashboard Sites, Users, Themes, Plugin Settings. You see Key Diets, the main dashboard. And so if you click Dashboard, this is the dashboard to our main installation for the multi-site. Now, if I go back over to here and I go over Network Admin and go to Settings, this is where I can set up some actions about how I want the multi-press network or the multi-site network to be configured. So the first thing we want to do is go to Network Setup. And we want to do this in a subdomain. So you can see here, Right now, the subdomain install is set to false. So we want to change this. And this is going to be in our WP config folder, our file. So we need to go change this, and then we need to make sure we modify our htaccess file accordingly. So let's go over to our WP config file. We're going to go back to cPanel. We're going to go to File Manager. We're going to navigate to our public HTML directory. We are going to click on WordPress config. We're going to click Edit, Edit. And now if we scroll down here towards the bottom, we're going to see subdomain install. It's down here on line 85. And we want to change this to true. So we're just going to type in true right there and click Save Changes. Okay, now we'll just leave that open for now. We can go back over here, click refresh, and we're going to see that now subdomain install says true. Site ID, current site, so this is all fine. And for our htaccess, we just want to make sure our htaccess reflects this here. So we just verify that by going back to File Manager, htaccess, clicking Edit, click Edit again. And you just make sure that these settings are the same. So we can kind of briefly look over those, and they are. So it's just making sure that it's set up correctly. So now that this is done, we need to add a wildcard subdomain. So this way we can set up like vegans.keydiets.com. So all our subsites are on the subdomain. So it's simple. We're going to go back to cPanel. We're going to type in sub for subdomains, and now we're going to click on subdomains. And to add the wildcard, we're going to do Shift 8, which is an asterisk, keydiets.com. Document root is going to be public HTML. It's wherever the location of that root WordPress install is. So remember, we installed it on the root domain, so it's right in public HTML. We're going to click Create. Okay, now it has been created. Now there's another important step we need to do. Go back to cPanel. You're going to type in Advanced Zone Editor. So Advanced Zone Editor. You're going to go down here, and you're going to find that asterisk. Click Edit, and you're going to change it from an A to a C name, and then we're going to set this to the domain. So the C name will be to keydiets.com. You don't need a period. Edit. Okay, so asterisk.keydiets.com goes to keydiets. So now we have the subdomain wildcard set up. We have multi-site set up. So we can go over here, go back into WordPress, and we can go to Sites, Add New. And now you can see when we want to create a new sub-site, a new WordPress site, we can enter it in here. So for example, if we want to do vegans.keydiets.com, the site title, Vegan Diets. We can select our language, English, our admin email. So let's just say admin@keydiets.com. Click Add Site. And now this just deployed another version of WordPress. Now again, since it's multi-site, it's using the same WordPress, but it's giving a subsection. So you can click Visit Dashboard, and you can see this actually brings you to that dashboard that we just created. So we can use our login that we created just a few minutes ago when we installed WordPress. So Key Diet 18. I'm going to enter my password, copying it from my notepad. Whoops, it didn't get in there. Okay, now we got in. So now we're in the vegans.keydiets.com. And if we go to visit site here in another window, you can see this is vegans.keydiets.com. So this is a whole different WordPress, so to speak. So if we wanted to, we could go to like themes, and we could add its own theme for vegans. So what we can do is, we have to actually do this in the admin. So let's go back over to here, My Sites, Network Admin, Themes. And this is where we would add the themes that we wanted to use. So let's say if we wanted to find a diet one, these free themes the search engine is not the best, but if we just click in, type in diet, install this one here. Just give it a second to install. Installed. Now we can click Network Enable. So this is going to enable it across the network, and the same here. So you choose your theme for the entire network right inside of here. Now if we go to Vegan Diets you're going to see it doesn't just change this specific site. So if we go to themes, we can select it here if we want to. But all the new themes are added in the master, but then can be sub-selected out. So this means that not all of your sub WordPresses don't have to have the same layout. So keydiets.com, we can refresh it, and you can see it's using the basic WordPress layout. But if we go to vegan diets, it's using this layout. So you see what we did there is we have now multiple WordPress installs with different themes. And the same is true for the plugins. If you want to install a plugin, you would go to My Sites, Network Admin, Plugins, and you would install the plugins right here, and then you would enable them on the child WordPress one. So another benefit to using Multisite is you don't have to update tons of versions of WordPress. You don't have to update tons of plugins. Instead, you can do it from one interface. So it becomes very user-friendly. One of the cons is if you have a lot of traffic across your network, you might need more resources, but that's why you're smart and you're using cloud hosting. So you can always upgrade to the next package, the next package, the next package. So you have more RAM, so you have more processing power and all that good stuff. If I go back to my network admin though, you can see I've got a dashboard. It looks a little bit different than others, but it's just like a basic WordPress install in the fact that it has the updates the same. So you update the plugins the same way. Turn the plugins page. Now you see instead of like having activate plugins, it's network activate, because it means when you activate these, it's activated for the entire network. So like if I go back to vegan diets, and if I hover over here and go to dashboard, and if I click on plugins, they're already going to be activated right here. So they're activated because I activated them across the network. They're activated on all of my sites. So this also saves you time. So let's say if you had like 10 different WordPress sites or something like that, and you would have to go install like the same copy of a plugin 10 times. Well, this saves you from having to do that. And the same with the themes is you're able to keep the themes updated network wide and use different ones. So all of your subsections can have the same design if you want, or you can have custom ones. So this really allows you to customize very different sections of the site. So for example, CNN.com, they use WordPress, but they have a very complex version of WordPress. So they might have a whole subsite just for like CNN Money, for CNN Sports, for CNN Weather. So all different subsections have their own WordPress install, kind of like a multi-site deal. So if we go back to you can see each site will have its own dashboard. And now I've got a master login, so I'm able to access all of these. If you go to your admin area and click users, you can actually create different admins for different areas of sites. So you can hover over mine and see Key Diets, Vegans, I've got both. If I want to add a new user though, I do it right here. It's going to send the password to the user, all users. And this is actually just going to be a user in here. If I want to make an admin, I need to go to that specific one. So let's say vegan diets, and I want to add an admin for there. Users, add new, and here's where you can give it administrative access, but it's just going to be to vegan. So someone like vegan admin, we can make them an administrator. Add an existing user. Whoops. Oh, and we have to actually create them here. Administrator. Add the user without sending the email, just so we don't have to check that right now. So now if we look at all users, you can see we've got another administrator. Now if we go back to our main interface and click users, you can see vegan admin just has access to vegans. He or she doesn't have access to all of the sites. So you can you can assign certain things, which is really great and powerful. And that way that one person, especially if you have a big site, one person doesn't have access to the entire site, just the subsection that they're in charge of, whereas you as the administrator have access all over the entire network. So we can really do this all day long and have a lot of fun with it by creating many different sites by just clicking add new, and then we can go here. So if we want to do meet.keydiets.com. meat diet. Do something like that. Click add site. And now we have a third site. So if you look here, like meat.keydiets.com is set up, and you can visit the site here, and now a whole new site. So now we've got one at meat.keydiets.com. We have vegans.keydiets.com. Vegans uses its own design, and then we still have keydiets.com itself, which uses the basic WordPress design as well. So you can see we've deployed 3 different WordPress instances, so to speak, all within a couple of minutes across the same domain using subdomains. And I think this is really cool. It's something that I've always enjoyed using WordPress Multisite, and a lot of people make it too complicated, I think, than it really should be. I was actually reading some tutorials on this before I started this video, and this was one of the main catalysts behind creating this. A lot of the tutorials try to make this a little bit too complicated than it should be. It's quite easy to do. I think the biggest challenge is actually setting up that subdomain A record, then changing it to a CNAME. But that's how you do it with Lightspeed Web Server. If your web host uses something different, maybe you're not even working with this here at Name Hero, the process might be a little bit different, but when using Lightspeed Web Server, that is how you set that up. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how to get it set up and how to get it running. It's pretty powerful what you can do, and if nothing else, just set it up and play with it, and you can always go back and clear things out. You've got options to upgrade the entire network. You see, upgrade the network. Again, this takes a little bit. Your different sites, your different users, your different themes. You can always add new ones. So even if you purchase a theme, you can click add new, and you can upload one, or you can search here. And remember, once you add these themes, they can be used differently across different sites. So this is really powerful too, because maybe you want to have a landing page WordPress setup. So maybe it's just a specific WordPress only used for landing pages for your advertisements. You could easily do that here. And then you could only give your developer access to the landing page subsection, so they don't have access to the entire site, just the area that you want them to work on. So plugin, same thing. These are the installed plugins across the network. And then you have your basic network settings, which is very brief and easy, and your networking setup, to where these files are automatically generated. But if you want, the only thing we changed was changing it to a subdomain install. We changed that to true. So let me know if you have any questions about this. I know we went through it kind of fast, but it's really not that complicated to set up and get going. I said most of the time people get stumped with that subdomain, which with Lightspeed, it's just you have to change that from an A record to a CNAME, and then that will get working for you. But using the apps installer, there's not a whole lot of technical know-how that needs to go into it. It's just really this point and click and following directions, which is what I really enjoy best about it. So let us know if you have any questions, but enjoy using WordPress Multisite, and I would love to see some of the stuff you create. So feel free to comment on this video with your WordPress Multisite network. I'd love to take a look at it and see how you're using it. But thanks so much for using NameHero.com. We certainly appreciate your business and being a world-class leader in cloud WordPress web hosting.